here we are about 6 days later. I got the heads all disassembled. I got the left side head cleaned. Tell. Now the other thing I really don't like about these heads is that they do not have bronze valve guides. As you can tell, there's no pressed in valve guides at all. It's just all machined cast iron. So you have the valve, which is steel, being on the iron surface, which is not that good for wear compared to the bronze. This design reminds me of the 6-liter and 6-volt Power Strokes that do not have valve guides. They just run on the cast iron surface. You can see these valve guides are not worn very much. They're still perfectly fine, but these don't hold up nowhere near as well as the bronze ones. If you want to put valve guides in this kind of head, you have to machine the hole quite a bit larger and then press in a bronze valve guide. But I'm not doing that because these are just fine. Because what some people don't know is the valves, when they run in the head, the valve stem, it does not get any oil at all. This is all purely metal on metal. There's no oil. Because if you had oil running down it constantly, your engine would burn oil really badly. Now the other thing to consider is steel wearing on cast iron is going to wear out much faster versus steel on bronze. Because, mind you, also the valve stems, they do not get any oil. That's why you have the valve stem seals to prevent oil from leaking down the valve stem. If it does, your engine burns oil. So the valve stem runs in the head completely dry. Got the valves cleaned up. These are from the left side head. Already lapped these in. This is the ones from the right side. This is what they look like before and after lapping. This is before. And the sealing surface is all dark and pitted. This is after. Still has some pitting in it, but mind you, you're not going to be able to get that out unless you get new valves. And they're not in that bad shape, so they'll be fine. Here's what the intake looks like. Before right there. The sealing surface is dark and this is after. Nice and shiny. These are in really good shape though, there's no pitting, just some slight oxidation on them. Here's the valve seats. Again, in fairly good shape, no pitting on them. I already got the first exhaust valve done. Now to the intake valve. This is the fine valve grinding compound. Very important to put this just on the valve sealing surface and not get it on the valve stem, because if you do and you go to lap the valves in, you'll destroy the valve guide. About enough. Also put some oil on the valve stem. Now for the valve lapping tool, just this suction cup on a stick. You just do this until it seats. That's probably enough for this valve, considering these intake valves are in fairly good shape. This is what the valve looks like after being lapped. Here's the difference between the valve seats. This is after, this is before. This one's quite a bit darker. Probably doesn't show up that well on camera. Now to do the dye penetrant crack test on the heads. You got the left side head done. It's leaking on these two cylinders. Got no cracks in it, so the head is ready for reassembly. Now to do the right side head, which wasn't leaking, but might as well crack test it anyway since it's off. Do the dye penetrant test. You got 3 cans. So you got the cleaner, then the dye penetrant, and the developer. Just clean the head off with the cleaner, and spray the penetrant on. Let it sit for about 5 minutes. Wipe it down, and then spray the developer on. I already cleaned the head off with the provided cleaner. And have to spray on the dye penetrant. Should be enough. Now to let that sit for 5 minutes and wipe it off then. Well, it's been about 5 minutes. Get the excess penetrant dye cleaned off, enough to put on the developer. And this one doesn't need to be shaken up. Just a little bearing in it. I already did that, so now just spray it on. Just let that sit for a little bit. Here's what the developer looks like when it's sprayed on. It's about a few minutes later. It's all nice and dry. There's no cracks. If there were cracks, you'd see a nice red line where the crack is with the white developer. There isn't any on this head, and there shouldn't be because this side wasn't leaking, so now just to clean this head off and put the valves back in. Got everything cleaned, ready for reassembly. The valves and valve strings, they'd cleaned. And these valves are slightly different. The exhaust valves have a valve rotator on them. So this piece here you can see has a bearing in it. Versus the intake valves, which is the solid retainer. And as well as the valve stem seals are different. Here's the intake valves. The standard thick seal that pushes onto the valve guide. As well as you have O-rings that go onto the valve stem itself. These are for the exhaust valves. These are not fixed seals. These move up and down with the valves. I'll show you how to put those on. Here's a better view of the intake valve stem seals. Just the old one here compared to the new one. I just like to tap these on with a piece of wood so we don't damage them. And we get the first one installed. And that's all there is to it. So this is how I assembled the head. I already got these two cylinders put together. And put the intake valve first. Here's the intake valve. I'll write it down one more time. Put some oil on it because of the valve stem seal. Enough. Move it a few times, see if it feels alright. goes fine. Now to put some rags in the combustion chamber to keep the valve from opening. And put the valve spring on. Now this cup piece and retainer. And have this key press to put in. First to put on the valve spring compression tool. It's homemade. It's about 2.5 centimeter wide piece of steel, and it's about, I'm guessing maybe about 0.5 centimeter thick. With some holes in it. And then the rocker stud like so. And this is one of the nuts that holds on the rocker arms. Just tighten it down. And I put on the O-ring. The O-ring goes in the second groove on the valve. Some oil on it so it doesn't stick. Just put it in position as a pick. Gotta get out of the first groove where the keepers go in. That is seated. Now to put in the keepers. Pull that off. The valve is in. Now to do the exhaust valve. Move nice and freely. And put some rags under it again to keep it from opening. Now the exhaust valves use these umbrella style moving seals opposed to the fixed seals on the intake valves. There's a difference between them. It just goes on the valve stem like so. You can tell it moves with the valve. See what I mean? And put the valve spring on. Now the cup piece. And the exhaust valves on this engine also have valve rotators. It's like a retainer with a ball bearings in it. And these add a bit harder to get on because you gotta compress the valve spring some to get the tool on because the rocker stud isn't long enough. This one not on, the other ones are a bit more difficult. Should do it. This man slipped off, that's alright. And put the ring on. Quite difficult to get them out of the packaging. Some oil on it. The rings on, the keepers in. And that's it.